Welcome. We're on a very special co-working with Ivana from Croatia. Maybe Ivana, you want to shortly introduce you and your co-working space.
Hi, Fanny. Thank you. Firstly, I would like to say hello to everybody. My name is Ivana. I'm 28 years old. I live in Zagreb, Croatia. I'm currently working in a co-working space in Zagreb called 385. I would just briefly like to introduce you with my story, how I ended up in the co-working space. So I was studying public relations, and during my studies, I wanted to try really different student jobs. So I tried something connected to journalism, to radio, and also public relations. And I was doing an internship in one agency, and there I met my now boss, and I remember she asked me when we met if I'm interested in something new, that she's trying to find a person who would be a community manager, online and also offline. So at that point, I didn't really know what it means to be a community manager online and offline, but I said, okay, sure, I want to try something new. And I started working here in HUB385 as a community manager. So I was in the space with all the other residents. I was doing their social media posts, and I was also like a connection between the people who were working in the management and the people who are our residents. This was the offline part of the work, and now 4 years, almost 4 years later, I am a PR and co-working coordinator of Hub 385, which is the one of the biggest co-working spaces in Zagreb. We are the biggest one that has the private investment. We are not owned by the city. So Hub 385 is a co-working space that
Okay, okay,
has.
okay. Just first one question. I was very
Mhm.
interested. So I didn't know. So you were studying journalism and then you jump in that community manager job, which I understand at the time is not so well known
Yes.
because I had that conversation so many times about what's a community manager for a lot of people that was basically managing social media. So it's being on social media. So not really maybe having a community on social media, sure, Facebook group, great. But when you think about a co-working space, sure, there's social media, but there are the members. And the position you're telling me was both social media
Yes.
and the on-site community.
Yes, it was both, and I was really interested in. I know
Mm.
what it means to be social. I mean, a community manager on social media. Okay, you put posts on social media, you answer the messages in the inbox, but the offline part was a bit, okay, what that really means. But it was really afterwards. I talked with my boss, and she said, okay, I really want to have a person in the co-working space when people come, when they get onboarded. I'm the person that onboards him or her, and then afterwards when he or she is in the space, that he always has a familiar face, that he or she knows that she can ask somebody if something is not working in the space physically. So that was the
Mhm,
offline part of that, to be
mhm.
part of the community.
So both were included from the beginning. It wasn't
Yes.
just a social media job that became a really community job.
Yeah, it was at the
That's
beginning, it
interesting.
was really
Mm.
the both. Yes.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. And you were also saying that spaces are owned by the state in Croatia, but
Well,
not yours.
some of the spaces are owned by the state or by the city. So we have
Hmm.
a big co-working space in Zagreb that is owned by the city, and their prices are really, really low. Sometimes even free for some people. And we are the first investment that is the private investment in co-working space. So the Hub 385 has three co-founders.
Hmm. And to you, what does that change to have public and or private funding? Is there a big difference between those different spaces?
Well, I think that is a big difference, because if you're owned by the city or by the state, you
Mm.
are sure that you will get the needed investment from the state or from the city. But when you are in the private, you really need to make your own money to survive. So that's maybe the biggest difference there is.
Yeah, yeah, totally. It's a job
Yeah, of
to get
course.
funds. And so we were talking about the space, and you arrived when the space was already founded, right? How long
Yes.
was the space there when you arrived?
So the space was really founded in 2016, and I became part of the team in 2018. So the first year, 2016, was like a trial year, let's say, where we had only startups in the space. Um, it all really began like the three co-founders. They all had like regular jobs, day-to-day jobs, but they wanted to, as in their own words, they wanted to give something back to the community. So they opened the HUB365 space, which was really at the beginning startup incubator for only for startups, for young people who have an idea but don't have enough money or sources to make that idea come true. And
And was
that
that, do you know if that was their main job at the time, or if they kept, you were saying they had their own job, but then they wanted to launch that project. Maybe at the beginning they were still working on the side, and then bit by bit it became bigger and it became the main activity, or?
Well, they do when they started. They had like, as I said, side jobs that are the main jobs. But
Mhm.
after some time, they didn't leave their regular jobs. So Hub Straight Five was really all along a side hustle, let's say, for them.
A
But
big
they had
side
us
hustle.
a big side hustle, yes. But they had us like a team of people, of 5 people, who were really they were really confident that we can do it on our own, and
Hmm.
we just really were very confident in doing it, and we needed only them for the small parts of the job. So they didn't have to be in the space all the time every day, but only sometimes. So they managed to have like both jobs at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
time.
I understand if they wanted to do a startup incubators, they were already working in a startups or with startups at the time too.
We were working with startups at the time. Some of them were investors also in startups,
Ah,
so
voilà.
they wanted to have also a space for them. So at the beginning, we had small offices for the startups, and then we tried to like
Mm,
have events that the startups could benefit from. So
okay.
we had pitching events when we gathered all the startups that we have, put them in a big room with investors, and every startup had like a 5 or 10 minutes to pitch their idea, and if the investor liked it, they can offer them money. And after that, we also had like startup conferences, um, and we tried to have a lot of networking events where we can do the matchmaking between the investors and the startups. That was our main idea at first.
Yeah.
And
So a
then after
lot
some
of
time,
events for startups,
mhm,
but then I understand at some point there were lockdowns happening and all those events had how to stop or to got switched online.
yes, they got switched online
Mm,
because of the quarantine. But also in the meantime,
mm.
even before the quarantine, we let's say stopped a bit with the startup incubator idea, because we
Oh,
saw how after us that we started the incubator, more and more people started their own incubators in Zagreb and around the
it
city.
became popular.
Yes, it
Hmm.
became popular, and my co-founders said that really their idea was truly that to encourage other people to make incubators for startups, for that to become a big thing. And they said that they don't see them as a competition, but after some times when
Hmm.
a lot of startup incubators emerged, they decided to, okay, now there is enough incubators, then we can switch to something else, and then we became like a regular co-working space.
Yeah, so switching from the startups, which I understand were most of your members, to something else, something different.
Yeah, something else,
Hmm.
because right now we also have some startups in the space. It's not like we
Hmm.
don't want startups to be here.
You didn't kick them out.
No, we didn't kick them out. We have currently one really interested. It's a few students from one university in Zagreb. They have a small startup connected to read to how to say it. I cannot find the words. Not retail, but real estate startup. So it's a bunch of students who now have their own startup to help other foreign students which come to Zagreb to study to find apartment where they can live. So it's a business idea they had, and now they have like a small company. So I wanted to say that
Mhm.
right now, at the beginning, we were only really oriented on startups, but now we have like
Mhm.
a really big and different community of a lot of people with different backgrounds of business and different professions.
Did you see coming of corporate, so big companies, employees coming into co-working spaces too? For
We
example,
had
during the
some.
lockdowns, where if you could open, did people who started working from home come to the space or something like that?
Well, during the quarantine, we had some offices that were big, and then only a part of the people came to the offices. But
Hmm.
during the quarantine, most of the people who were interested in the space were more freelancers who just didn't
Mm.
want to be stuck at home anymore. So
Yeah.
they mostly rented open space desks. But before and after the quarantine, we also had some big corporate companies wanted to rent a co-working space, but it was mostly only one part of the big company. So not the
Hmm.
whole team, but maybe only marketing team, only to be in the space with other people, maybe to connect with other people. Because
Hmm.
if you have a big company, the marketing part is the part who takes the most out of networking and socializing with others. If you
Yeah.
have a part that are developers, they mostly only do their job and not communicate that much with the rest of the community.
Mm. So when a big company would come to your space, it would be one department or one team together, and not the whole company or not
Yes.
many other departments. And mostly the
Or
marketing
maybe,
teams you're
yes, marketing teams mostly,
observing.
or
Hmm.
maybe only the CEOs, and then they have like
Mm.
their own office. Because right now in the space in my co-working space, we have
Yeah.
25 offices that are available, but none of the 25 offices is like for 30 people. The biggest one that we have is for maximum 15 people. And when you have a big
Mm.
corporation, the big corporation really needs a lot more space than 15
What you have.
seats. Yeah.
Mm.
But we had, for example, when we started, we have one startup. They had like 3 people in their team, and they stayed with us for 3 years, and they went from 3 people to 35 people. So they
Ooh,
had, yes, they had 4 offices in total in our space.
wow.
This is
That's
also one
good
of
when you
the,
see them grow like that, huh?
yeah, that's really
Mm.
nice.
Mm. And now I'm wondering, we were talking a lot about events you were organizing for startups.
Mhm.
I guess you stopped, then there weren't a lot of event on site, but now it's more open. So have you restarted organizing more events about not maybe startups, but other kind for your other kind of members?
So yes, it really for the past couple of months, the events
Mm-hmm.
started to we started to hosting events again. At the beginning, it was some kind of a hybrid events where we had like we rented one space, a smaller room.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the people were there, and part of the people were online, like this live stream.
Yeah.
And now, after some time, we really saw that more and more people text us, send us emails to see if we are available to host an event for 100 plus people. So right now we really have a lot of them. Every day we have like parallel events in our space.
And how
It's
does it
not.
work? Do you have like a big room for events or several rooms for meetings or event that you're renting on the side of your like offices or?
Well, we really have everything that you just mentioned. So the building has three floors. 2 floors are for the co-working space, for offices and open space desks, and on two
Hmm.
floors we also have meeting rooms for the people of the co-working.
Yeah.
And on the first floor, we have a big event space with
Mm.
9 event space rooms, meeting rooms. The smallest one is for like 5 to 6 people, like a small room to have like a meeting. And we also have big academy rooms for 100 people plus.
Oh
So we
yeah,
have
so
like
it's
yeah,
pretty big.
it's pretty big. The whole building is more than 2,000 square meter.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because I think the person I had just before you, she created a very small space, and it was 45 square meters.
No, it's like apartment, let's say. Yeah, we also have
It's
that
not
in
the
Zagreb.
same.
No,
It's
it's
not
not
the
the
same
same.
at
It's
all.
really the
Yeah,
different. I
yeah, but it's
remember that I
good.
had. I mean,
Hmm.
it is somebody really likes it. There are a lot of types of people who enjoy the small community, a
Hmm.
small space with only one room to rent or something. I remember that I had one guy coming from the really small co-working space in Zagreb. It's really like 45 square meters, as you said, like an apartment close to the city center. And he said that he was feeling claustrophobic there and he wanted something big. And then on the other hand, I had people coming here and said to me after some time, okay, I mean, I really like the space, but it's too much for me, too much people. I would rather prefer a small,
Hmm.
space with only like a 10 people in it. So it really depends on the
On the
people.
person, totally, totally. And so you're hosting almost every day. You're renting almost every day to big event space, right?
Yes, we are hosting. I mean, we are renting space every day when we are working. The front desk is working all the time, and we are hosting parallel events. It's not the same as before. In 2018, for
Hmm.
example, we had like uh, in I think 5 events a day. We work double shifts, so from 8 to 8, and now we only have a shift from 8 to 4 because
Hmm.
it's enough for all the events that we have. But as I said, I believe that this positivity of event hosting will continue to grow also, because
Mm.
as I said, there is really a difference between this year and the past year. There are a lot
Mm.
more events right now in our space,
Yeah, I bet so. I bet so.
and more so everybody space.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people were okay to do some online event or hybrid event during the lockdowns because they didn't have much choice. But then some get
Yeah.
sick of it. Like you get sick to work from home and you just want to go to a co-working space to see something else. Then people want to
Yes.
go to on-site event to be there in flesh and bone.
It's really different because I remember that I was a part of one online event. It was like a workshop, and it was really hard for me to follow the workshop of
Mm.
being from home, because when you are there with the people, with the rest of the people participants, it's a different atmosphere. As you said, it's different when you are there on the spot and you get to know some people, get to hear something from them. I mean, it's nicer to work in the co-working space now, which is full of people, different people there chatting with each other, than it is when you are home and only looking at your screen alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember one of my favorite part of going to an event or networking event was during the presentation. We always had a bit of presentation about the topic. Then we would be the same bunch of people at the back, at the bar, drinking a beer together while halfly listening to the presentation because it was interesting. Yeah? But it was also about meeting people and having a drink with friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm. And those events, I understand there are a lot. So maybe you partner with some organization or people rent your space. It's not necessarily in collaboration with the co-working part of the business, right?
No, it's really mostly if we host events, it's mostly with outside clients. Let's say
Hmm.
some of our co-working residents also host events, like when they have a team building or a big meetup with everybody from the company or from with investors. Then they also rent our space, but mostly outside clients rent the space. So, for example, we have like big corporations that are our clients, and maybe once in 1 month they have like an internal workshop for their employees.
Mm-hmm.
and then they rent our space.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really two different business in the same
Yes.
place. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, what about the future? Do you have some more plans? Do you plan to go back to startup, to extend to some more industry? To what's in the plan?
Uh, well, we are open for everything. I think at this point we are open for new ideas. I'm not sure whether are we going back to startup incubators. I mean, being open only for startups, because right now we realized how people from different professions really seek the co-working
Mm-hmm.
space. So I think that we will try to maintain open for everybody,
Yeah.
startups and even big companies. The idea for us and our wish, let's say, is to maintain the what we are now, because we are the best known co-working space in Zagreb. So we are already like a brand. People know what Hub
Mm-hmm.
385 means in Zagreb. But also, we would like to maybe in the future open one more location in Zagreb. So right now we have only one big building that is ours. But we were thinking maybe to have like a small mini Hub 385 space somewhere close to the city center, to when somebody is looking for a space, to give them the opportunity to, okay, you can switch locations. If you have some meeting close to the center today, you can stay at the other place that we have, and if you want to, be a bit far from the city center, you can use our second location. So that would be like a idea maybe for the future.
Yeah. So flexibility with the city center and the main headquarter.
Yes, yes. To
Mm-hmm.
be as flexible as possible, because we try to be flexible with our residents, with everything that they need
Mm-hmm.
from us, and we also like to be, flexible with people who are just joining or are just interested in renting a space with us.
Nice, nice. Interesting. I'd be looking forward to see how that goes on.
Yes, I'm really, interested in what the future brings, because more and more people. When I just started working in a co-working
Mm-hmm.
space, I remember when I talked to my friends, my family, of course, and when I wanted to explain where do I work, nobody even knew what co-working means. And what is a co-working space? I'm not familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
And now, after a
Mm-hmm.
few years, it's really, I mean, people really know what co-working means. More and more people try it out from different professions. It's not only
Mm.
developers, freelancers. We really had a lot of
Startups.
people. Yeah, startups. Right now, we also have attorneys here, marketing agencies. We also have like a small church in our co-working space right
You have a
now.
church.
Yes, we have a church. So it's really, I mean, it's really, you have everything here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good, good. Thanks. What about a bar or a cafe?
We had a bar before
Really?
the pandemic. Yes, in the ground floor, where we have like a ping pong table
I
and
was
front desk.
joking, but everything's possible.
Yes, everything is possible. Right now,
Uh-huh.
we don't have it; it's closed. But we are also planning to
Mm-hmm.
reopen it, because it was like a
Oh.
small coffee place, and also
Mm-hmm.
people could take something to eat, like a small lunch, and it was
Mm-hmm.
really a plus for them when if they want to stay. I mean, most of the people here really stay for like 8 to 9 hours here working. So it's
Yeah.
important to have a lunch break. So we wanted to also
Yes.
give it to them.
People are saying sitting down is the new tobacco, the new cigarette.
Yes.
We're all gonna die because we sit all day long. So going to the cafe at some point, just buy some hot drink for the winter. Uh,
Yes, right
it's
now,
always a
because
good thing.
it's always a good thing. And also we try to in the space also host like events for the community. So
Mm,
when you mentioned coffee place and something cozy, we also have like breakfasts for all of our residents. For once in a month, we organize an event in the ground floor, which it's
mhm.
a big space. We bring
It's a bit
coffee,
like
bagels.
the ground floor is a bit like an event space, but it's not to rent. It's for you and the community.
Yes, it's for
Mm,
the community just to hang out, to
yeah.
play some ping pong, table tennis, or something.
And the bar, is it? I'm curious. Is it available only for members, or is it open to anybody who's walking
It's
in?
open to anybody who is working because our building
Mm,
is part of the of even greater building, which has four more companies in it. So
mm.
we are open, really for everybody.
Interesting. Nice. I love that idea. I will check it out. The cafe and the space, or that. Croatia. Yeah, something. Well, it's almost the end, but one last topic from me, and maybe one last topic from you, and we're done. We were talking about. So there was a big event about digital nomads. So I'm a digital nomad in
Hmm.
Croatia, and I was wondering if that had any impact on the space. I was saying not so much because I mean they gather somewhere in Croatia, not in Zagreb, I think, and for like 1 or 2 weeks, so it's very short. But you were talking about the visa and how that brings some new people in the country.
Yes, Digital Nomad Week took place last year or 2 years ago. I'm really not sure because I mean they were in our space also. One
Ah,
part of the whole event took place in Hub 385, and I remember that I was also part of the wrap up party, which they had in the city center. And At that point, when they had, and in that week, the Nomad Week, when they had meetings and workshops all around the city, they were also here, and all of the digital nomads that were like speakers on that event also stayed in our space for a couple of days. And The people from Digital Nomad Association connected me to one more association in Split called the Rental
mhm.
Local. And so they In Split there are a lot of people who come, digital nomads, because Split is on the seaside. So people coming to Croatia to work mostly work somewhere close to the seaside. But as we connected with them, with the Rental Local, we also specifics connected to nomad visa. So when people come to my space and ask me, okay, I would like to work here, I would like to open a company in Croatia or something, but I don't know anything about nomad visa. So I can say, okay, I have somebody in Split, I can connect you with them, and they can really tell you everything that you need to know about it. I think that maybe it's not that popular yet in Croatia. I
Mm,
only had like 5 people asking me about digital nomad visa, but
mhm.
I think that in the future, more and more people will really take that opportunity to take the visa and to work from all around the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's sure. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, I think that we covered everything: the beginning, now the future, and how it all went. Um, and I would just like to, for the people who are maybe listening, who are planning to visit Croatia, I would like to give them like a call to drop by to our space to see how it works. We are really close to the city center. You can come with public transportation, and we always have like a 3-day trial, so you can just drop by and see how the space works, to see how you like the atmosphere, and to become part of our community for one day.
Yeah, cool. So it's pretty open. You just pop up and you can
Yes,
spend
it's
the
really
days
open
in.
for
Hmm,
everybody.
hmm.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Well, where can we find the best information or the most updated information about your space? Are you publishing on some social media regularly, or blog, or
Um,
a vlog?
we are publishing on Facebook, so Hub385 Co-working, but I think that's maybe the best to use our website, Hub385 Co-working, because the website is also on Croatian and on English, and there you can
Yeah,
find all the information and also contact form to write us if you want to know something else and more.
awesome. I'll put the link in the comment below. And
Great.
thank you so much, Ivana. It was very great to talk with you. we
Thank you for having me.
we were talking the first time, I think about 1 or 2 years ago, about how co-working spaces were doing during the lockdowns. I made an article of it,
Yes, I
and then
remember this.
things after another. Now we're here, so it's great to be
Yeah.
with you. And thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.